Sorry about that. Oh man. So, as I recall where I left off, uh, regrets in Compton, and it kind of ties in because a lot of a lot of questions that I get asked are, well, what are the problems in the police department? Well, why is it so corrupt? And or is it corrupt? Are all cops bad? You can imagine. Um, for me, it's like an onion. There's layers to this story, and I'll start off by just saying how immature that the administration was at the police department there in Compton. When I first got hired there, and again, I had no idea, I don't know anyone, just walking in there, meeting people, getting to know the job, all that kind of stuff, right? And had a lieutenant whose name was Tommy, and he was gaga over my wife, who was not my wife yet at the time, but I had no clue, had no idea who even she was, but I guess when got out to him that she was interested in me, and so he always used to come down and try to belittle me in front of everybody in briefing. And I'm just to think, what is the problem with this guy? What is wrong with him? So that was it, because he couldn't take my wife to bed. My life was hell. And if you've ever watched the 1983 movie, The Lords of Discipline, great movie. I feel like Mark Breland in that movie. All right. So remember, and now it's not just him, because there's cliques. And in this clique, because this guy was an administrator, he had administrators in his clique. So after a few years of me working there and working narcotics, get out of narcotics. If you want to know about my life in narcotics, it's another story. But my supervisor in narcotics is tied to this because he was good friends with Tommy. They were in the administrative clique. So my TO, my training officer, Jeff Nussman, who's no longer with us, used to go out, drinking after work all the time. Me and him and a few other guys. One guy who's no longer with us again is Paul Wing. And one day, this is after I'd gotten out of narcotics. And there's some stories I could tell you about narcotics too, because I only lasted 4 months there. And it's not because I was incompetent. So if you want to know those stories, hit the subscribe button. When I'm not telling these stories for free, okay? If you want to know, just hit the subscribe button. But Paul Wing and another officer, who I will not say his name because he is still with us, and he's very famous too, came down to the locker room one day when I'm, getting ready for my shift with my partner, who's also still with us, so I won't say his name. But he was my partner every day for over 3 years. We were like that. We were brothers. Okay. So Paul Wing and the unnamed officer come down to the locker room, say, hey man, we were out drinking with Jeff the night before. And if you know anything about alcohol, it's a truth serum. All right. So they came and told me right away, hey man, Nussman told us that Tommy is putting the order out to everybody else, like Applehead, who ran internal affairs. I'll say his name, Al Preston, because he's a jerk. I don't care. Never liked him. Black Monday's on you. Anyway, they want to document everything you can against Gene to get him out of here because that's how vindictive and petty he was, that he couldn't have my wife. And that's what it was all about. So there's lots of other stories that I can tell to tie into this. For example, I will tell you this, okay? When I was in narcotics, there was this one guy when we used to go do raids, and he's no longer with us, but I won't say his name. When we would go do raids, he would take pillow sheets off of people's beds, you know, and take the pillows out, and then go shopping. He would stick alcohol, jewelry, whatever valuables he could find in the guise of making it look like I'm taking out evidence and you can't see what it is. And he was just robbing people's houses while the rest of us were actually, you know, searching for contraband and fruits of the crime. Why didn't I say anything? That's part of the story. Because again, when you have the click administration giving issues to treat, you know, me like I'm in the Lords of Discipline. Great movie. You got to watch it. I put the link in the description box. What am I going to say? You know, it's like you can lay low all you want, but when they come looking for you, and it's like a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation, right? So, for example, I was going to a radio call one night. My field supervisor was in a car behind me. And this car runs a red light, almost hits me in the police car. And I pull him over because he's an imminent threat to the public, right? But here's the thing, this is where the Lords of Discipline thing comes in. If I don't pull him over, and he causes an accident and kills somebody. Well, Gene, this guy did this right in front of you. Why didn't you pull him over? But because I pulled him over, it was, Gene, why are you trying to get out of going to this call? It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's what my life was like. Now, I'm not saying I was a Boy Scout, because I wasn't. But I did not do anything to get indicted. At least I don't think so. So, yeah, that's what my life was like in Compton. I could go into much more detail, but I won't again. If you're interested in these stories and what happened in Compton and the shady stuff that happened in narcotics while I worked there, hit subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You know, help us get to at least 500 subscribers. And I'll tell you everything you want to know about the dirt in Compton PD and the criminals that posed as cops wearing badges. That's all I have for this morning. Remember, be kind to one another and treat each other the way you want to be treated. I'm Gene. You've been hanging with Uncle, and